What's up guys, Albus here with Albus Tech, coming at you with another video. This video is actually going to be an unboxing of some PC hardware we got here. Some newly released PC hardware. These are RAM kits, Corsair Dominator Platinum Edition RAM. But these RAM kits are actually a part of a special release, an exclusive release rather, of the Corsair Dominator Platinum RAM lineup. Now there have been many special edition series RAM kits released by Corsair. There were the red edition, I believe, and there was also an orange edition of the Dominator Platinum. They had special colored light bars, and I believe some kits had altered LED bars, I believe. I'm not sure actually, or maybe the LED bars were an upgrade. But these kits are actually exclusive due to their limited quantity, and we'll get into that in a second. So, but for now, we're gonna go ahead and get one of these kits open. Let me just get one of these open here. We're gonna cut into one of these packages here. Packaging actually isn't standard Corsair packaging. This finish on here is a nice matte smooth finish. The sleeve comes right off. I'll put that over there. Sleeve comes right off, and you got this nice raised pattern box here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's you can see the matte finish like the sleeve is, but there's also some accented smooth raised it's not etching, it's more like a pattern, but so that's different. They usually have a simple cardboard box with a nice Dominator Corsair branding on it. But they went ahead and went with a case. It was more like a case rather than a plastic cardboard packaging. Go ahead and open this up. Let's get the lid here. Let's get this camera. Get this focused on the camera. Let me. Can you guys get you guys a better view of this? Okay. So upon opening the box, first thing, looks like we got a special edition message, little leaflet, if you will. See, it's a thank you. And looking from the bottom, this is actually personalized from the CEO, Andy Paul, Corsair's founder and CEO. If you guys want to take a look at that, you can go ahead and pause it. But it's a personalized thank you leaflet message. On the back here, we got the special edition in a nice illustration. This also has that there it is, that special design, that raised pattern on there. So that's nice. That's different. And here we have the RAM modules. Let's go ahead and get these out. Now this is a, let's see, there was a, oh, here it is on the sleeve. This is a 4x8 gigabyte. I'm sorry, not a 4x8. Yeah, we have 4x8 gigabyte, which makes a total of 32 gigabyte kit. These DIMMs are 8 gigs each. I went ahead and got 2 of the kits to make a total of 64 gigs. Now this is something new as well. We've got what appears to be a microfiber cloth. Let's open this up. See what we got. This is a microfiber. Seems like a polishing cloth. So I guess you can give your new RAM a nice polish. Let's get these last two out of here so we can get some first impressions. Now these plastic retainers here, these little holders, now these are nothing new. These are what the standard Dominator Platinum comes in, typical packaging. So there's nothing special about that, which I wouldn't expect anything special to be about the plastic holders, but some manufacturers do add that attention to detail, everything. Let me see, let me go ahead and get my microfiber glove to handle these with. Okay, that's that. Let me just go ahead and take two of them out. That way I don't have to worry about fiddling with the gloves on and off. I'm just going to use some microfiber gloves to handle these because I don't want to get oil and whatnot on my hands. So initially, first impressions, the first thing off the bat that I notice is this, the actual side of the PCB. Looks like we got some plastic covering on there. Let's get that off. That's one. Let's go ahead and get this other one ripped off. Maybe a little hard with these gloves, but I'll manage. Okay. So the side of this PCB it's usually a plastic with a chromed Corsair emblem. But what they went ahead and did was made the entire encasement, the PCB encasement, of a brushed aluminum finish is what it appears to be. It's got a nice shine to it, reflection, if you will. So that's really nice. It adds a little bit of extra weight to it over the standard Dominator Platinum. I don't notice that much of a difference, but they do have a really premium weight to them. Another thing I notice, if you look here, the heat sinks, while usually a bright aluminum, anodized aluminum finish, they're actually grayed out, a nice dark grayish. Now these are the blackout color scheme. There's two color schemes, the blackout and there's a chrome. You can see that blacked out heatsink there. So that's nice as well. And lastly, well, I wouldn't say lastly, but third, we've got, as opposed to Corsair's standard anodized aluminum light bar, this is a polished aluminum. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's got a little reflection on it, a reflective finish to it, which is really nice. Now usually and typically I'd rather say, you would have to purchase Corsair's light bar upgrade kit. You'll notice these two LED light bars here. They're white LEDs. You would typically have to purchase this from Corsair site or another third-party vendor in order to get these to have there's two LED modules on these two sides here. Then there's a plastic light bar that travels this entire way. It's kind of, you can see it under there. It's clear. You can see it a little bit. It travels that entire way, and it carries light with it to shine through these little windows. Now that's usually something you have to go with, or you have to purchase separately. But they went ahead and included these in the special edition kits. Another thing I'm noticing is that there are gold screw retainers here when they're usually silver or chrome. Now, gold has always been used as a nice premium accent to things, and it's a premium metal, so when you see gold or gold plating, you get the feel of premium. So that's a really nice attention to detail with them implementing that. See over here, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm trying to get it close as I can. You've got the etching of the kit's speed ratings. So we got command, let's see, I can't really see that, but you've got CMD32G X4M 4C3214M. Now I'm assuming the CMD is a 32 gig kit, 4 modules, 3200 at cast latency 14. But right under that, and even more fine etching, there's the exact 32 gigs, 3200 megahertz, 14, 16, 16, 36 at 1.35 volts. Now they've got all that etched into this little configuration description on the side. It's not paint, it's kind of etched on there. Laser engraving or etching you got. And also below that, if you'll notice, you'll see 040/500. Now these kits, like I said, they're exclusive and they were released in limited quantities. So that is in fact the product release number. So 040 meaning this is kit 40 of the 500 that will be issued. So that adds a nice exclusive feel to it. Let's see. Over here we've got that nice, we got a nice, that's paint. It's like a nice thick paint layer. The Corsair logo is also painted. It's usually chrome, but it is in fact painted on. It's got a nice reflective finish to it. Looks nice. Dominator Platinum, and it's got the special edition DDR4 right below it. So that's really nice. Besides that, everything else looks pretty normal, or typical rather I say. The only thing they did is really, as far as the design goes, they just implemented a new scheme, a new color scheme. But this is a really nice RAM module. Now the Dominator Platinums have always been a premium solution when it comes to RAM modules for PCs. These are just another step up from their already super premium RAM lineup, the Corsair Dominator Platinum. Now these kits were released, like I said again, in a blackout color scheme. There's also a chrome color scheme. There's two different DIMM densities that they released. These are the 8 gig densities. They've also have these available in 16 gig densities. Now, depending on the total amount of RAM that you want to run these at, you can end up with either a 64 gig kit, which is what I did by getting 2 of the 32 gig kits. So that'll net you a 64 gig total, or you can get the 16 gig DIMMs, and with all slots populated on either a Z170 or an X99 board, you could end up with a 64 gig configuration or 128 gig configuration. So that's good. Now as far as pricing goes, this RAM starts off with the 16 gig modules, with that being 2 by 16 gigabyte kits. They start off at $299.99 US dollars plus tax and shipping depending on where you live. And these 16 gig kits that are 4 buy 8 modules, they start off at $329.99 plus tax and shipping, which is a pretty hefty price to pay. But for those who just have to have some of the best RAM released on the market, I mean, I guess this would be your go-to, assuming that you've gotten your hands on some of these, or you can, or there are any quantities that are still available. But another thing to note with these kits, Corsair is advertising these at a speed of 3200 megahertz. Now, they're also advertising that the ICs in these RAM modules are hand-picked. They're specially picked, cherry-picked, if you will, to be able to be overclocked to 3600 megahertz, and that's safely. Now, I haven't tested these at those speeds, but I will be testing them at those speeds to see if what they're saying is can be tried and true. So that's another thing to keep in mind. They are hand bend, specially picked so that they can be overclocked. So that's another like cherry on top, if you will, for the whole special edition, exclusive limited quantities, etc. So that you take that in mind if you want to go ahead and purchase one of these kits. So for the most part, as far as the impressions, that's pretty much it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get these installed into a system so that you can kind of see them with the in an actual application example. I have a little test rig. I'm going to load these into a Z170 board, and that way you can see the light bars in action. Now that I'm thinking about it, these light bar windows are actually a different design. There's usually just straight a clear insert here, but you see this one has like some kind of, let me see that, get that to focus. It's got some crinkled design to it. Now I don't know how that reflects the light, but I'm sure it's something that adds that extra premium to the kits themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and get these installed, and I'll be right back, guys. Okay, guys, so I got the RAM installed into this Z170 board here, all 4 DIMMs. Got a nice shot of it. They look pretty good. They blend in pretty well with the board. Even though this is not going to be the board that they're going to be in permanently, but it looks pretty good, I would say. My Asus Rampage 5 Extreme, my Rampage 5 Edition 10, I upgraded from the Extreme. That's neither here nor there. It's black, same PCB color as this Gigabyte ultra durable board it's a little rig that I built that I'm going to be giving away on my my Facebook group, Computer Enthusiast Master Race. So I'm going to just use this as a nice little tester, a mock-up, if you will, to see what this RAM looks like. So I'm going to turn the lights off now, so I can get a nice. Well, actually, let's leave the lights on. Let's see what it looks like with light on, and then we'll do a comparison with the lights off. That way we can get a good visual representation of how these LEDs perform and what it looks like. Let's go ahead and switch on the PC. Okay, so there we have it. Let's see if I can get a little zoom in here. I think that's good. Now they look pretty bright. There are LEDs installed into this case. Oops, sorry about that. But for the most part, these are actually pretty bright. This is a side view. Now the Dominator, as I was explaining how the RAM LEDs work, they actually I don't know if you can see them. They have light that travels down here all the way through this. There's not like a strip in here. There's only one LED, and they have a small little bar that travels this distance here. There's an indentation below this heatsink bar, and it pretty much delivers the light, because if you'll notice, it's brighter here than it is in this area there, and that's because of the light not being able to travel evenly. Due to it being at the north and south points, or the east and west points of the RAM, if you will. If that's a better way to kind of get an understanding of how it works. But for the most part, it works. Corsair has been using this design for quite some time, and it's pretty much been working out pretty well for them. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like with the lights off. Again, these LEDs look pretty good with the light on and with the light off. The only lights that are on are the case lights. I'll turn those off, and that's what they look like in complete darkness. Now, usually, from my experience I've owned numerous Corsair kits, the LED itself always had a bluish tint to it. Now, these are pretty brilliant white. If you'll notice, I also have a Corsair fan here, and it's kind of got a bluish tint, but if you notice, you'll see that bluish tint on this, the Corsair logo here on the AIO. You can kind of, let me just go ahead and start moving us around. All right, kind of bear with me. That's the front view, but you will notice between the three, there's a bluish tint hue, if you will, and then you got a whitish hue on the Corsair AIO, and of course the brilliant white of these Dominators, and they look pretty good. Let's give some light comparisons to see if we can get some tints to compare them with. This green, that's a green light. It's a red light. Let's go ahead and back this out so we can see completely. Let's see, we got green. Let's go with this is a really deep blue. That is like super saturated blue. My camera's actually having a hard time dealing with it. That's a super saturated blue, and again, these LEDs are pretty, they are very, very brilliant in these tints. Let's go back with the red. Green here. It's a super green, a very rich green, and again, these light bars are standing out. They're doing their job. There's an orange, turquoise. We got a purple or a violet, if you will. There's an RGB LED. Let's go ahead and see if we can get us a strobe or something going. Let's try. We don't want that one. Let's try the fade. This is a complete RGB spectrum, so you guys can get a nice representation in whatever case you're going to be installing these in. If you decide to get some of these RAM modules. So yeah, Corsair's done it again. They've really held up their name with this premium RAM. They look beautiful in this case installed with all the other Corsair components. I can't see why if you are in the market for some RAM, some premium RAM, you would look over these. Of course, the price tag is pretty hefty, but you can expect that with something with this level of exclusiveness, being only 500 kits of each configuration being released. A total of 2,000 kits will be released. That's 500 in the black 4x8 gig, 500 in the black 2x16 gig, and you have the chrome side. There's the 500 of the 4x8 and the 2x16. So that's 2,000 kits total. And if this is that level of exclusivity, this you want, or, you know, if that's what you're after, then these kits are definitely right up your alley and should be on your list of must-haves. So that's it, guys. Again, stay tuned for more content. Elvis Tech here. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what guys you want to see in the comments down below. Send me a line or whatever, or drop me a line. I'm checking the comments to see what you guys wanted to see. And stay tuned for more.